Mr. Randy Duck and welcome back for another video. Today we have 3 replays to show you in the brand new Tier 6 Japanese premium tank destroyer, the Type 5 K2. Now this was released yesterday alongside the new Japanese Tech Tree tank destroyer line. And what I'm going to do for you today, before I get into the 3 replays, the 3 gameplay for you, I'll just briefly go over and talk about the tank. So let's start off with the gun. It has a 300 alpha gun, 188 penetration on your standard AP rounds with a shell velocity of 850. On your premium rounds, on your premium APCR rounds, you have 226 penetration with the 300 alpha, and then you have your 53 penetration on your HE rounds for 360 alpha. You've got pretty good DPM in this tank. You've got a DPM of 2,742, so when you get a chance you can rack up quite a bit of damage. You have fairly decent concealment. I've got my concealment down to about 268 with the setup I'm running, which you'll be able to see at the bottom of the screen when the video starts. You've got a top speed of 40 kilometers an hour, so it's sort of medium mobility. It's not the best, but it's sort of okay mobility. Unlike the Tech Tree Tier 6, you do actually have 10 degrees of gun depression on this tank, so it can be quite nice at times when you're using some of the ridge lines. The problem is it's a little bit weird, the gun depression on this tank, because it's kind of hard to explain, but if you look frontally on the tank, you just got this little part which sticks out, and then when you try and turn your gun over that sort of part, it kind of messes up your gun depression, and then your gun elevation can have a little bit of problems at time when you're trying to move up, so it can be a little bit awkward to use, but you know, it still is nice having the 10 degrees when you can make it work. But that's pretty much it for the basics of the tank. It's probably easier just to see how this tank does when we get into the actual replays. So I will stop rambling on, get into the replay, and let's just see how we get on. Okay then, let's get started then for the first replay on Redshire Encounter Battle, where we are actually top tier matchmaking in this one. There is 2 enemy light tanks, sort of 1 enemy artillery, and other than that fairly even matchmaking. Initially we're going to go and try and play this ridge on the left hand side, see what gets spotted, see what gets detected, and then go from there. Like I say, you do have 10 degrees of gun depression, so you can utilise the ridge lines. It's just, you'll find when you play this tank, sometimes it can get a little bit awkward, because it's sort of your tank, when you're looking over and it hits that little part on the right, on the front of your tank, a little cupola, it kind of messes up your gun depression a little bit, and sometimes you also struggle with the gun elevation, which can be a bit of an issue. But we start off, we get a nice shot in on that tank crossing the ridge. We're getting this light tank. You see, I was struggling with the elevation a little bit there, even to get that shot in, and I had to sort of pull forward to get the shot in. But thankfully the light tank now does get taken out, and that's going to give us a lot more freedom, because he's not going to be spotting us, and we can poke this ridge and try and use the gun depression to see if we can get any shots in. Like I say, we have a right concealment value. It's not the best. It's not as good as the Tech Tree Tier 6 Japanese tank destroyer, but it's still fairly decent, and you can still be a little bit stealthy at times. Right now we're just waiting for something to get spotted. It seems weird there's no tanks sort of gone down the 8-9 line, and because of that, that's going to give us freedom to actually push up and get underneath their ridge. You know, we're kind of alerted to the fact that there isn't any tanks on the 8-9 just by looking at our tanks' positions. That's going to give us the green light to get a little bit more aggressive, get underneath this ridge line, and see if we can try and get any shots in. We're going to try and use this rock on our front to try and limit where the angle tanks can shoot at, but we've got to be very careful when we try and poke for these shots here, because tanks at the back like this will be able to get shots into us. We do manage to pick up a kill there on the enemy Japanese tank destroyer, getting our first kill of the game, and looking for some more shots. Like I say, you see I'm using this rock on the right because that limits angles where tanks can shoot me. I'm trying to put myself in between this rock on the left and that rock in the centre and play with those rocks to try and, like, one was going to keep me protected from the artillery, two, just limit the angles on tanks can shoot at us, allowing us to try and peek and get the shots in. Enemy tank destroyer on the right is peaking quite high, something which we've got to be careful of. And then this enemy tank destroyer comes around trying to derp us this boom bar, but thankfully for me, it doesn't happen. He's now putting onto a one-shot as well. And we actually pick up some assistance there for spotting these tanks at the back. It's still a fairly close game, 11 versus 9. We've got to be careful. I don't want to just get taken out as I do this poke, but I'm just trying to maintain as many tanks spotted as I can, because we do have a friendly artillery in on this game, and he's under no real pressure, so we can keep tanks just targeted. He's going to be able to shoot at them, and with our tanks now moving down the 8 line, we're trying to almost pincer the enemy team in this position, so they're kind of trapped in one corner of the map, and that's normally a good sign for us to then go on and get the win there, because the enemy team doesn't have any freedom where to move. But we have still got to be careful, because it is still a 10 versus 9, and it won't take me long if I overpoke too much to lose my whole tank. We're having an okay start. We've got sort of 1500 damage, 500 assistance. Looking to try and get a shot into the enemy artillery here. Unfortunately, we don't land that shot. We're going to pull back because we are getting spotted and targeted as well. Something is looking to shoot us. Keep having a little look to our right hand side in case that tank tries to overpeak again on the right and get shots into us. And just trying to get as many shots as you can. It's a bit of a weird one how this is played out. How the enemy team have kind of got trapped here. I guess with the the encounter setup, it's kind of played out a little bit peculiar than how Redshire would usually play out. So now I'm going to use this ridge in front of me so I can try and lean over and shoot the tanks on the right without the tanks on the left shooting me. We get a nice shot there, picking up some more assistance as well, putting us onto 1,700 damage, 800 assistance. Hopefully I can try and lean over and get another shot in here if we're lucky. But I'm thinking better of it. I don't want to overpeak. Once I go past that rock, then people are going to be able to shoot me. But the artillery is now shooting the tanks, which I am spotting. So we are starting to pick up some more assistance, going on to 1,293 assistance damage now. And you can see where our friendly artillery shots are landing. We are picking up more assistance as this game goes on. But we're starting to take a bit more control now. It's now 9 versus 6. I think there's at least 3 enemy tanks in front of us. The other tanks I suspect are camping on their A sort of 1, 2, 3 line, looking to try and get shots in. Hopefully we can try and poke and get a shot into this tank destroyer. We do. We land a shot, picking up the kill, confirming our second kill of the game and putting us under 2,000 damage. Only 4 tanks remaining, but again it's still 4 versus 7, so you still got to be a little bit careful. I want to lean over and kill this one-shot tank here. And I think it's about time. I'm considering doing it, but there is still a tank destroyer, enemy medium tank covering here. We managed to squeeze the slimmest shot in there, putting us into 2,300 damage. Now it is only 3 tanks remaining. I'm going to go in and just eat the shots here. Hopefully we can pick up the kill. We do confirm our third kill of the game, putting us under 2,500 damage with 1,300 assistance. And now we're just going to try and get up and see if we can kill the enemy artillery piece and the enemy last remaining tank, which is in the A1-2 area. If we get there first and we actually manage to spot them, then if our friendly artillery hits them, then all the assistance should go to me, which would be nice, and just to sort of top off this game, which should hopefully be a win here. We should be able to pull this one off. Hopefully we can squeeze in a shot into this enemy artillery to put us up to closer to 3,000 damage, which would be nice. Try and squeeze in the shot. Hopefully he doesn't derp us, because that won't be good. We do put him onto a one shot, but he's coming in to try and shotgun us. Hopefully can we load just in time. Unfortunately we don't roll high enough, which allows him to absolutely slap me and put me onto a one shot. But we do get the kill at least, putting us onto 4 kills, 3,100 damage, 1,200 assistance. It's only this medium tank left, which he does still have a few hit points left as well. Hopefully we can try and get another shot in, which we do, putting them onto a one shot. And now it's probably going to get taken out on our friendly team, which it does. bringing us then to the first replay of the video. So let's see how we got on then. We managed to get 4 kills, 3,500 damage, 2,100 base XP, 1,200 assistance, getting the ace tanker, high caliber, and the spotting medal. So that's it for replay number 1. Let's move on to the second replay of the video. Okay, so here we are for replay number 2 on Fisherman's Bay. This time we are top tier again. There is 1 enemy artillery and 1 enemy light tank. So we are going to push the sort of centre position at the start and see if we can catch any tanks out crossing and get any early damage. There's only a few tank destroyers in this particular matchmaking and quite a few heavies and mediums. It's nice being only 1 light tank, so that's going to increase our chances of, just trying to stay undetected, and it's going to give us a better chance of trying to spot the cross at the start. So I'm going to try and use this building to my right to shield myself from the right hand side, but just try and spot the cross. So I sort of just need to try and work out an angle to get my gun down here. We do, and we managed to get a nice shot into that enemy Churchill crossing, but now he's got into cover, we're going to struggle to get any more shots into this tank if he stays where he is. But if he keeps backing up, we might be able to get a shot in. We try and blind one in there. Unfortunately, we don't land it, and now we are getting detected from this enemy medium in front of us, and we need to try and get behind this building to try and keep ourselves safe from the enemy line of fire. I'm going to try and poke up and get a shot in because he is kind of leaning up. See, I'm struggling with the gun elevation a little bit there, which makes it a little bit awkward. We do put one in, put him into a 2-shot. Unfortunately for us, the enemy artillery is now looking at us, and I don't really want to stay here for that reason, because he's just slapped us for sort of half of our hit points, and I can no longer stay where I am. I've got to move and get out of this location. We do put a shot into that enemy medium before we leave, and now we're trying to see if we maybe finish him off quickly. We had a shot to finish him off, but it gets shut down by our friendly KV-85. Enemy artillery is stopped looking at us because he is detected now in the middle of the map. I'm hoping the enemy artillery gets taken out because it's going to make us, our life a lot easier if that tank does get taken out. We've got shots at this enemy heavy tank here, hoping to try and get a second shot in, but he just gets into cover before we're able to find that shot. It looks like some of the enemy team have actually started to progress through the town now, through the 8-9 line. If they come out of the town, I might be able to get shots into them from where I am. I've got to be a little bit careful, the fact that we don't have much tanks here, but hopefully if they do come through the town, we should get some shots in. I don't really want to have to push into them at the moment. Obviously I don't really, I have no armour whatsoever, and obviously the turret can be penned with HE quite, so you have to be a little bit careful with your hit points. But we have managed to have a decent start, getting sort of 1,400 damage. You can see the heavy tanks are now poking out of the town. I'm going to wait. Hopefully if he keeps crossing like this, we should get a shot in. We do put him onto a 1-shot. He should get finished off by our teammates, and he does. And that confirms 1 of the tank, and now we're in 11 versus 9, so we've started to take the lead. I suspect the majority of the tanks, I know there's like 2 heavies in the town, and then I think the rest of the tanks are probably going to be on the 1-2 line. Looking to try and get a shot into this enemy tank destroyer. We managed to squeeze that in. Now I'm going to try and hug this house here to try and keep myself protected while I fight this tank destroyer. Got to be careful I don't reverse up too much though, because then I'll be able to get shot by those tanks at sort of the K sort of 1-2 area. So I've got to bear that in mind. If that tank destroyer falls back just a little bit more, I should have the kill on. I'm hoping it gets pushed back, but it gets taken out anyway by our friendly Churchill 7. And now we're on sort of 2,000 damage, 300 assistance. But it has gone back down to a 7 versus 6. So this game is not won yet. Our friendly heavy tank is sort of in a little bit of trouble by that Churchill, and I want to try and go in and help him out because he does have 3 tanks which he is potentially fighting there. I really want that Churchill to poke up again, and then I'll put a shot into his track wheel and try and track him in place. But I don't think that's going to happen, and unfortunately we do lose our Churchill. So I'm going to try and be a little bit aggressive here and try and get behind these tanks and see if we can take them out. Hopefully they'll be distracted by our medium and our heavy tank, and we can just get behind them and pick up some damage here. So we're going around slowly just in case they was looking this way, but I don't think they are. I think they're going to be looking frontally. I should be able to get some nice rear shots in here. We do, and we put this Churchill onto a one shot. We're hoping to try and get a shot in. The Bulldog is turning to get a shot into us. He's a two shot to us. We put a one shot in just to make both tanks a one shot, while we then try and pull back. If they come around this corner, we should have the kill here, and that puts us onto our first kill of the game and 2,700 odd damage with 3 tanks remaining. Enemy medium tank comes around. He is a one shot to us. Thankfully we get that shot in before he gets around us, because obviously I probably should have said you do have a turret, but it's not a full rotatable turret. Obviously you can only turn it so much. But yeah, we're having a decent game so far. We've got 3,000 damage, 2 kills. There's only 2 tanks remaining, but I would like to try and get over there and get some more damage in. I don't know how many hit points they actually have yet. Hopefully they're fairly healthy so we can get some more damage. I mean, we've got to be careful because it's a 5 versus 2. So in theory, you know, we've obviously got the advantage. We should have the win here, but you've got to be careful. It's now back to a 4 versus 2, and it's definitely not 100% a win yet. We need to try and see if we can take out one of these tanks. We do still have a friendly artillery piece in play if we are able to spot these tanks. I think the tank destroyer was a 2 shot to us, and I think the heavy was fairly healthy. I think he had probably about a 3 shot to us. Tank destroyer does get spotted. We should be able to squeeze one in. We do, and thankfully that squeezes in, and that puts them onto a one shot, which is very, very helpful to us. And the enemy tank destroyer still got around about 1,000. Sorry, enemy heavy tank's got around about 1,000 hit points left. So I'm hoping to try and squeeze in and get some shots into this heavy as he leaves. But it looks like he just managed to evade our gun. He does. Enemy tank destroyer picks up a kill, putting us into the artillery, putting us into a 3 versus 2. Pulling back, so I think this enemy heavy tank's going to try and look for a shot into us here. If he keeps pulling back though, we should be able to get another shot in now. We've lost our spot. Hopefully we can squeeze one in. We do put them onto a 2 shot, putting us into 3,600 damage. Can we squeeze the second shot in? We do, killing him and putting us on to just shy of 4,000 damage now, and 3 kills with the 1 enemy one-shot tank destroyer left. And I don't think we're going to be able to get there in time before our medium finishes them off, but you never know. No, we don't. And that is it for replay number 2, with one more replay, normally saving the biggest 2 last. So we get 3 kills, 4,000 damage, 300 assistance. Only the first class this time and the high caliber, but one more to come, so let's move on. Okay then, here we are for the final replay on Ellenburg. This time is a tier 7 matchmaking, where we got 2 enemy light tanks, a few enemy tank destroyers, and quite a few heavies and mediums. But importantly, there is no enemy artillery in this lobby. So initially we're going to push over to the other side, see if we can catch any tanks out crossing, just to get a bit of information. I mean, Ellenburg can turn into a little bit campy at times, but we're going to try and push over and see if we can get any early damage at the start, because our friendly light tank is actually going over to spot the cross, which is good, because if he spots them early, we might be able to catch out a few tanks crossing and then get some shots in. We stopped there because he does spot an enemy heavy tank. We thought we might be able to get some shots into him, but I kind of regret not just keep pushing, because I didn't really have any shots, and I've kind of just delayed a little bit of time where I might have been able to shoot them if I was up on top of this ridge. But maybe we will get another opportunity to get some shots into this enemy KV-3, which is crossing. I would like to try and track this KV-3 in place if possible. We should have a slim shot at this tank here. Unfortunately that shell derps, although I didn't let it fully aim. This time I will let it fully aim, and hopefully we can track him in place. We'll get a shot in, putting him onto a 1 shot, but now he is behind that hard cover, so we don't quite have a shot. But the KV-3 is actually reversed into a position where we can shoot him, and we put a shot through his track wall there, tracking him in place. Hopefully we can keep him permo tracked. We do manage to track him again, and if we can keep him tracked like this, we're just going to be able to free farm the poor KV-3 in the open, picking up some track assistance and picking up the kill on the tier 7 heavy tank. Starting this game off with a good start. Looks like there's an enemy, I think it's out of Churchill, coming in, and it looks like he's just going to keep crossing here, so I'm going to pre-aim to get a shot in. We do, and we damage his ammo rack. Hopefully we can get a second shot in before he gets into cover. If he keeps poking, we might squeeze another one in. Unfortunately, that shell doesn't land where we want to. It was a bit of a slim shot. But yeah, this poor Churchill is in a bit of problem now. We get one straight through his turret, putting us on to 1700. Hoping we might be able to squeeze in the kill there, which we do. Picking up a little bit more damage and putting us on to sort of 1800 damage with 2 kills. And we're off to a decent start, and it is 14 versus 11, so we've taken the lead as well. Enemy light tank though now is pushing round, and I've decided not to continue the push onto the enemy cap, just in case there's other tanks coming this other side. I thought I want to make sure our base was secure first and see if we can get a shot into this enemy light tank here, which is probably being a little bit of a nuisance. So I should have a shot here. It should be able to shoot. Unfortunately, I'm getting pushed by the KV3. To be fair, it wasn't really his fault. He was just trying to reverse back and get to safety. But that light tank does get taken out, leaving us into a 12 versus 9. So now we're going to try and push across to the centre of the map, because this side looks like it is won. Our base is secure. I'm hoping now if I can just get into the centre, I might actually be able to spot the enemy tanks on their ridge line. And if we do that, then I could pick up some assistance with our tanks in the sort of B5-6 area. Should actually have shots into those tanks, and we could rack up some assistance and maybe some damage of our own. So we do spot some tanks here. We spot an enemy heavy tank on the hill. We get a nice shot into him. Like I say, the camo at this range is pretty decent here, and we don't get detected for it. And now they have backed up around that ridge. I'm not going to push all the way across. I'm just trying to extend my vision a little bit to hopefully try and get some assistance. Enemy Craft Panther does actually cross onto the right hand side. We won't actually have shots into that. We do get a shot into enemy medium and pick up some assistance for it. Unfortunately, we do get detected for it as well, so we've got to be a little bit careful. We pull back behind this building to keep ourselves safe while we lose our spot, and now we're going to go and try and light them again, because we know there are tanks in that area. If they poke up looking to kill our tanks on the right, we should be able to get some shots in. Enemy Skoda gets spotted. We get a nice shot in, but we do get spotted for it, but we're not targeted until the very end, and we have got safe. But the Craft Panther, and I think an enemy T20, who are actually platooned up on the enemy team, have pushed around the right hand side towards our base. We might actually have to pull back and potentially deal with those tanks, because I don't want them getting behind me and then just sort of picking me off. We've had a decent, we're having a decent game. We've got 3,000 damage, 1,500 assistance, and 3 kills. But there's more damage to be had. There's a one-shot medium tank. I've aimed a shot. Unfortunately, just get a bit unlucky with the RMG, and I don't pick up the kill there. Do pick up a little bit more assistance, so putting us into 1,800 damage. And now, if you look on the right-hand side, that Craft Panther and T20 are no longer spotted. And that means because they've probably killed what was there. And I suspect they are going to start pushing up around the back of our base. And I don't really want to get caught out in that situation, because then if they kill our TD on the top, they'll just have 3 farms on us. So I'm going to try and pull back and see if we can spot those tanks coming behind us, or what I suspect are coming behind us, and see if we can get any damage on those enemy tier 7 medium tanks. Just as we cross, we're just looking to see if anything does get spotted, and we can quickly put in a shot as we're making our advancements. And as we get spotted, we do spot the enemy Craft Panther here, who's on about sort of 600 hit points, and the enemy T20, who's still got half a hit points. I need to try and get up to this ridge to keep them spotted, because I do have tanks behind me. If I can keep them spotted, then they shouldn't be able to just full send over the ridge onto me without taking punishment. But I want to try and get some shots into them, because at the moment they are shooting our team. And although we've got the advantage in a 7 versus 4, again, this game's not necessarily won. Unfortunately, we bounced the track wheel of the Craft Panther and wasn't able to track him in place there or pick up that damaging shot. We can eat a couple of shots off the Craft Panther, maybe sort of 2 off of the T20. Put one into that craft panther, putting them onto a one-shot. Hopefully we can now squeeze in a shot into this T20. We do, but he also puts us into a potential one-shot to the T20 now. Craft Panther pokes up, puts one in, but we get that kill, putting us into 4. Just shy of 4,000 damage, 4 kill and 2,000 assistance. The T20 is a possible one-shot to us if we roll for average, or well, actually we'd have to high roll. We get the shot in. Unfortunately, we don't roll high enough to kill him, and then he kills us. But I think it was worth it because I put him on 30 hit points here. And our team should do the job for us and finish this enemy T20 off. But we got on to have a really good game there. We've got, what, 4,000 damage. I think it was 2,000 assistance and 4 kills. So, yeah, so let's just see. We've got 2,200 base XP. It should be enough for the ace tanker. And yeah, really decent game for a tier 6 tank destroyer. We get the ace tanker and the high caliber. But that is it for the video. So thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please remember to like and subscribe. I'm going to be trying to get the videos up in the tech tree line as well in the coming weeks. So yeah, as always, happy tanking.
Hadouken!